Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into a slick, stylish world of deception charm and high-stakes cons. The story begins at an American football match where a man named Nicky was sitting comfortably with his girlfriend Jess at the VIP stands. The match was going on, but Nicky's attention was more on the crowd than the game. He saw a beautiful girl get up from her seat and leave. At the same time, a crazy idea came to his mind. He made a small bet with Jess. Let's see how many people will look at that girl. A man sitting there said that he also wanted to take part in this bet, to which Nicky agreed. Everyone bet $10 and started counting. When the girl came out of the stand, it was finally counted that 7 people had looked at her. In this bet, Jess's guess was the closest, which is why she won. Luwian gave the money without any hesitation and then asked to start the next round. This time the bet was on who would make the next foul. Jess said that she had no knowledge of the game, but Nicky jumped on the bet and wagered $1,000. As soon as the whistle was blown, the referee gave the foul signal, and the team Nicky had bet on turned out to be right. He won the bet and put the money in his pocket. Luwian got even more excited after losing. He said, "This time, let's bet $5,000. The question was whether the next player would pass the ball or run with it. Nicky was hesitant to bet $5,000, but he finally agreed. Luwian guessed that he would run, and Nicky said he would pass. As soon as the whistle was blown, the player really ran with the ball, causing Nicky to lose $5,000. Now, Nicky decided it was time to stop. He asked Jess to go for coffee, but Luwian insisted. He said, "You are sitting in the VIP lounge, you have money. What's $5,000? Play another game of $10,000 this time." Nicky finally agreed. The question was whether the player would be able to succeed in the next pass or not. Nicky predicted that he would pass, but the other team intercepted the ball. Now, Nicky had lost $15,000. He was a little worried while taking out the money. He thought for a moment and said, "Let's bet $50,000 this time." Jess was shocked to hear this, but Nicky looked angry. Fate was not on his side. He lost the next bet again, after which he had to give up $50,000 more. Jess immediately asked him to stop, but Nicky's anger and ego got the best of him. He thoughtlessly bet $100,000 on the next one. Luwian made fun of him, saying, "You have so much money." Nicky threw a whole bundle of cash on the table without saying much. After this, Luwian was also excited. Nicky bet that the next pass would be intercepted, but this time the pass was successful. Nicky had now lost millions of dollars. He wasn't able to understand how to get out of this problem. Jess was also very surprised by his actions, but now the game had reached a very strong level. Nicky said, "I have $1 million left. Let's bet the whole amount. Let's see who wins." This time it will be decided by the cards. Luwian was winning continuously and was now crazy with joy. He started looking at Nicky like an ATM machine. Luwian took out his card, which was a 5. Nicky had to take out a card bigger than 5. There was a good chance of winning. Nicky picked up the card and turned it over with a lot of confidence, but his card turned out to be a 3. Seeing this, Jess immediately fell off the chair. When Nicky started the game, he was in the mood to bet only $4,000, but by now he had lost more than $1 million. That's about 9 crore rupees. After this shameful loss, he had nothing left to say, so he quietly held Jess's hand and started taking her out. He was very sad, but Luwian still started teasing him more. He said, "This is the result of playing with the teacher." Nicky stopped and bet another $2 million. Now, the idea was a bit new. Nicky challenged that Luwian could pick any random player from the binoculars, and if Nicky guessed his jersey number correctly, he would win. Luwian was a bit confused by this. He said that this was a mind-blowing thing and felt like Nicky was shooting himself in the foot. He also had a little doubt that Nicky was cheating. To clear his doubt, Nicky said, "I won't even guess. This time, Jess will guess." Jess looked at Nicky angrily. She didn't understand what was going on. What is the chance that the jersey number I say will be the same among so many people? She asked and started to leave, but Luwian's security guard stopped her. After a little fight, Jess calmed herself down a bit. Nicky told her to just look around the ground and say the number that felt like hers. Luwian picked up the binoculars and chose a player, after which Jess took the binoculars and scanned the entire field. She was seeing jersey numbers everywhere. How to guess. Then she saw a familiar face and she remembered Nicky's words. "Choose the number that you feel like yours." There her friend Farhad was wearing a jersey with number 55. Jess understood that all this was part of Nicky's plan. She said number 55, and that was the right answer. Luwian was stunned. Jess also thought for a while. How did Nikki know from the beginning that Luwian would select the same number? But all this was not necessary at that time. He had won the bet, making a profit of $1 million and getting all the lost money back. He left the stadium with 2 big bags full of cash. In the car, Nikki told Jess that all this was part of his plan. He had been tracking Luwian for a long time. Actually, Luwian was famous in high society for his bad habit of gambling. When a bet was put in front of him, he would jump on it. Nikki's team had made this whole plan. As soon as Luwian stepped out of his hotel room, number 55 was put into his subconscious mind. The security guard's lapel pin also had 55 written on it. On the way to the stadium, there were the same numbers on the signboards, and he not only showed him this number, but also told him. After hearing all this, Jess was completely impressed with Nikki. The story goes back a few days before this. A few days ago, Nikki was on a bed in a room, and a man had a gun to his head. Jess was sitting next to him, whom he had just met a few days ago. It was clear that someone had trapped Nikki, but there was no sign of fear on his face. He said directly, "I don't have any money. If you want to shoot, shoot." The man with the gun understood his reactions and immediately recognized him. This man is a player. He is a bigger thug than us, and his guess was absolutely right. Nick is a great thug who does small thefts very cleanly. Jess had trapped him and brought him to this room, so he saw a natural talent in her. Jess hadn't understood anything until then. Anyway, when the man with the gun left, Nikki said to Jess, "You have a gift, and if you take a good look at your ability to cheat people, then you can sit and eat for the rest of your life." Nikki said that this is their family business. His father were all thugs. He is a backward thug. Every trick, every move was a game for him. Jess spent some money without wasting time and said, "I want to learn from you." Nikki also didn't think it was necessary to waste time. Even while going out, Nikki had stolen a ring from Jess and she didn't even know it. Before Jess could understand what had happened, her watch was also missing. And when she kept the watch in her handbag, Nikki had taken out her wallet. After all these activities, Nikki said, "The cleanliness of the hand timing and a little style, that's all you need in this job." That day, Nikki didn't say anything other than goodbye. A few months later, Jess found him in New Orleans, where Nikki had started making a new team. Their meeting was actually a test. He wanted to see if Jess was even worthy of joining his team. When Jess said yes, Nikki sent her to the fair with a team member. Today was Jess's first practical assignment. She took the map in her hand and started asking people for directions. Then her companion secretly stole a tourist's camera lens. Then another companion deliberately bumped into a man, and Jess took out his wallet. Jess now had a little confidence in her stealing style. She took out the wallet from another woman's bag with the help of chopsticks, and everything was so smooth that no one doubted it. Nikki was looking at all this from the top of a building. He told the team to leave her alone. Now it's her turn to fly. Now Nikki sent her for another big assignment. This time it was a high-tech fraud. With the help of special lenses, they could see other people's cards and then easily defeat their opponents. There was also a system of stealing credit cards. The card was stolen and secretly sent to a teammate, where a device would copy its data, and then the card would go back into the same person's pocket. By the time anyone knew anything, the entire account would be empty. There was another scammer's system, a fake ATM machine. Whenever someone withdrew money from the ATM, their PIN would automatically be stored in the machine. Farhad would secretly remove the machine and take all the data. All credit cards were kept in different categories and luxury items were bought from them, and finally their data was sold in the black market. One day, Jess saw a beautiful necklace and wore it, but Nikki told her to take it off immediately. He strongly explained that he would have to sell everything. Nothing should be personal. Jess was seeing such a high-level fraud for the first time. The feeling of standing in the middle of a mountain of stolen things was something else. The next day, Jess and Farhad were roaming in a rich area. Their job was to act. Farhad fainted and Jess started screaming and acting. "Please, someone help us, please." It was a kind of distraction, the benefit of which was that the rest of the team stole the belongings of the rich people around them, and then the whole team hid in an ambulance and left. All this was planned so well that no one could understand anything. That night, they all celebrated together. Nikki praised everyone because in just 1 week, they had earned $12 million. The next day, all the people on the team were going to be separated. All the documents were destroyed, and everyone was assured that in a few days, their money would be in their bank account. Jess was falling in love with Nikki little by little. Until then, she thought she was Nikki's girlfriend. That's why he was showing her all this. But Nikki had included her in his group from the beginning just for cheating. When everything was over, Nikki gave her $80,000 in cash and finally said goodbye. Jess looked at him. She had tears in her eyes. Her heart was broken. On the one hand, she really loved Nikki. On the other hand, she also felt that $80,000 was too little because Nikki had just earned $1 million. But there was no place for emotions in Nikki's world, and Jess had now seen his real color. About 3 years later, we see a race car entering the service station. And soon we also saw Nikki there. She had tears in her eyes, and it was clearly written on her face that the money was going to run out. At lunch, she had a meeting with the owner of a race car team. Garia's research team had developed a new algorithm called EXR, but they wanted to improve it and increase their chances of winning. For this, they put Nikki to work. The plan was very simple. Nikki would pretend to be their chief engineer. Then he would stage a fight between himself and Garia so that other teams would fall into his trap. After this, Nikki would sell a fake version of EXR to the rival team, and the real system would be used by Garia's team, which would confirm their victory. According to the deal, Nikki was going to get 1 million euros for this work, and the earnings from selling the fake system would also be his. Nikki thought this work was a joke. He could have done such a simple scam even in his sleep. But Garia's butler didn't trust him at all. He directly threatened Nikki. "If you do anything wrong, I will shoot you in the chest." Nikki wore a tuxedo and left to attend a party in the evening. His plan was to fight among the crowd, but their plan was spoiled when Jess entered. She entered in a red dress from the stairs and went straight and hugged Garia. Seeing this, Nikki lost his mind. He hadn't seen Jess for 3 years, and now she was with someone else. And that too, with the man who had put Nikki at work. Jess came to Nikki and said, "I am not a thug anymore. And whatever happened 3 years ago, it doesn't matter anymore." She also said that Garia didn't know anything about the old relationship between Nikki and her, and said that it would be better if this thing was suppressed. Hearing all this, Nikki lost his mind. He picked up a glass of vodka and emptied it in one go. First, he had to act to fight, but now he was already angry with Garia, and he had a big fight in front of everyone. Rival racing teams liked this drama very much. Soon, security threw him out of the party, but now the business card of the rival team had come into his hands. The next morning, Nikki met the owner of the McLaren team. He said directly, "It will cost 3 million euros. I want to sell the EXR system." Since the owner had a race car, there was no shortage of money, so there was no need for haggling. He immediately tested the track, and seeing the result, the owner's face lit up. Nikki assured that he would get all the software in 48 hours. On the other hand, Jess met Farhad on the road. Nikki had sent Farhad. He told Jess that it was necessary for Nikki to leave 3 years ago. He had no choice. He said that Nikki still loves Jess. Farhad gave a box to Jess which had the same necklace that Jess liked. There was no guarantee that it was real or fake. But it didn't matter. Seeing that necklace, Jess's heart melted. It came out of Jess's mouth that she couldn't trust Nikki, but there was something else written in her eyes. She still felt something for him. Anyway, the day of the deal came soon, and Nikki gave the software to the owner of the McLaren team. In return, a strong man put 3 million euros in his hand, but Nikki's nature was such that he didn't work without risk. He secretly sold every single copy of the software to all the racing teams' new Euros in every handshake, with which he took millions of dollars. Until the race started, no one knew that everyone had the same system. That night, Nikki messaged Jess instead of running. If she came on time, they could both run together. Nikki waited, but no one came. At the last moment, when he was about to give up, Jess came. Actually, he was Garia's man. Now, he had found out the truth that Nikki had not sold fake but real software. He had no interest in Garia's 1 million euros. Now he wore all his gear and deliberately collided with Nikki's car. Nikki and Jess were caught after a dangerous accident. After tying them both, all the cash was kept in front of Garia. Garia was very angry with Nikki's actions. He had invested 40 million euros in making this program, and now everyone was ruined. The biggest thing was that Garia could not understand how Nikki stole the real software. When Nikki didn't say anything, Garia smacked Jess's nose. After that, his breath stopped, and Nicky broke down seeing this. He told everything that he had woken up. Jess's old love for him and put a necklace on her which had a special chip inside. As soon as Garia opened that software, Nicky stole her password and data through that necklace. Hearing this, Jess's heart broke. Tears started flowing from her eyes, but Garia and his people started laughing. They liked the story, but they didn't believe Nicky. Garia said that Jess was not his girlfriend. "I know she was with me for money." On the other hand, Jess also admitted that she just wanted to steal his expensive watch collection. Nicky was surprised that Jess had pretended to be in love with Garia to burn him. Now both were caught. Garia didn't take much time. She asked Butcher how Nicky stole the software. As soon as Nicky started talking, Butcher fired a bullet. That bullet went straight into Nicky's chest. Garia's face turned white. She got scared and told Butcher, "Money can be earned again. But if I get involved in the murder, my life is over." She immediately took out Butcher and ran away from the warehouse. Jess was crying a lot, but Butcher said that there was no need to be afraid. He was actually Nicky's man, and to be honest, I am his father, real father. She deliberately fired the bullet on the side of the heart. She sealed the wound with tape, removed the blood from the needle, and stabilized the air pressure in his chest. Suddenly, Nicky opened his eyes again. He was still alive. This act was a little crazy, but it worked. A lot of money was after them, and the three of them left. Nicky was actually an orphan, and he was raised by this butcher. He was the one who taught Nicky all these skills of robbery. The rule was never to be emotional, but now Nicky really started loving Jess. Butcher left them on the side of the road and took all the money. Nicky didn't get anything. But while going to the hospital, Nicky saw in the car that Garia's €2 lakh watch was in Jess's hand. They looked at each other and smiled. With this trick and sleight of hand, they will not die of hunger in any corner of the world. If you like the video, like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.